Welcome to Tomo Talks. I'm Tomo Marjanovic. I am here with John Money Mason, and we are going to talk about how money influences relationships and what it takes to be an alpha male. Stay tuned. So John Money Mason,
we're on. Okay.
Welcome to Tomo Talks.
I know, well, finally, we're here. I like it.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, how we know each other, and kind of what your industry is. Because when I call you John Money Mason, people are going to automatically assume that you're all about money.
I'm from New York, grew up in South Florida, played soccer overseas for a bit, came back, had a couple knee surgeries, so I had to retire from that. And then what's interesting about knee surgeries is it stays with you throughout your life. So now I'm thinking about finding a career that has nothing to do with physical movement and stuff that's really nice on my knees. So I became a professional breakdancer. So
really good for your knees, right?
Yes, I did entertainment, did weddings, bar mitzvahs, corporate events, sweet 16s, mainly emceeing a lot, obviously dancing as well, but did that for a while. And then in 2008, 2009, when the recession got really bad, I wanted to learn about money and finance because even going to school, getting a degree, let's call it like it is, you're not learning a damn thing about money or finance the way the real world works in school. That's a whole different Tomo talk. I realized I knew nothing about money. I knew how to make money working, but I didn't know how money actually worked. So I wanted to learn that side of the game. Went to some interviews with some big corporate companies, but I'm not a corporate guy. I can't do that corporate world. I can't be sitting at a cubicle all day. I can't have a boss. I don't like quotas. I want to be able to work. Just let me do what I got to go do. I don't mind having a coach. I just don't want to have a boss. So my brother introduced me to someone that you know, a guy named Patrick Bet-David. 2009, I flew to LA, met with Patrick, fell in love with him, with what he was doing, the office. I said, I'm all in. So I went back to South Florida, got my insurance license, and I was 26 at the time, started from scratch, no experience, no market. Every friend and family member was making fun of me, all the F's, right? I just stuck it out, man. It was a long road, but read a lot of books, did a lot of events, seminars, a lot of coaching, a lot of training, reached out to a lot of different mentors in the business. So this is now my 13th year with the same firm, PHP agency with Patrick. Been with Patrick 13 years now. Based in Orlando, myself, there's about 36,000 of us though, around the country.
What's your role with PHP and your relation with PHP specifically?
We have different titles. Every company's got different titles. They call me a chairman, which just means that I've helped promote a certain amount of brokers around the country, opened up a certain amount of offices. I've helped a certain amount of clients, did a certain amount of revenue for the firm. But my main role right now is recruitment and development. On the personal side, on the agent side, I deal a lot more with business owners, executives, more affluent market, because in the financial world, there's the expert that understands money and the ones that don't. And then there's the ones that make a lot of money but don't understand it. I talk to a lot of athletes and they make a lot of money because of their job. Mm-hmm. They don't know how money works. There's even financial advisors that don't understand how money works. They have a license. A license only allows you to get paid for a transaction. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean you actually understand what the hell's going on. How many dumb real estate guys do you know? Mortgage people do you know? So just because you have a license doesn't mean you're certified. It just means you're going to get paid for a transaction or time spent. I was in a relationship in 2019, 2020, and the pandemic hit, everything shut down. I said, you know what? There's this place called London House that just opened up. I said, I'm going to go check it out. And went to a 1970s party. Mm-hmm. I don't think I met you then. We went to a 1970s party, had a blast, and then I went back another time for another superheroes party. I said, I'm going to become a member, became a member. And then I think a month or two after my first membership, went out to London House for a cigar night. I met a guy named Peter, Peter. And everyone's having cigars and you're sitting there hanging out, relaxing. We just started rapping. We stayed in touch. We had lunch the next week with everybody. Mm-hmm. And then next thing you know, it became a great friendship. And here we are today.
You and I met over cigars, which is how I meet a lot of really good, influential people. I'm not condoning cigar smoking because tobacco can be harmful.
Well, we only smoke maybe one time a month.
Yeah.
Because you're considered a non-tobacco.
Yeah.
So maybe one time a month.
Yeah, consider non-tobacco for my insurance policy.
Yeah, so one time a month.
The people in the insurance company looking at me right now on video.
Yeah, one time a month. There you go.
So 2020, you're in a relationship with somebody. What happened to that relationship?
Oh, we're going there. Wow. Can I get a shot of tequila, please?
Yeah. We're drinking green juice. This is health kicks.
So what is in this? I mean, okay, we're going to go there.
So what's in this?
Everything.
Organic. Quinoa, banana, orange, pumpkin, beet, kale, raspberry, pineapple, pomegranate, broccoli, spirulina, spinach, chlorella, collards, parsley, and kale.
Okay, so we can go. We don't have to digress. What happened there? Actually, there's not one negative thing I can say about her. I think the biggest challenge was a lack of communication about certain things, that certain needs were not met. and could have easily been fixed. So great person, but it hurt when you look back saying, you know what, I could have done this, I should have done this.
Sure.
That's the hard part. People hold on to stuff.
Sure.
Where letting go is a big process. You know, there's a book I think David Hawkins wrote, Letting Go. When you hold on to it, there's resentment and this, because you don't let it out. And I was talking to someone earlier, we talked about by not actually saying what you feel, you're actually lying because you're not being your authentic self.
So you're lying to yourself.
You're lying to yourself, but you're also lying to that person because you're not saying what's really going on in your head. You're not really giving your true feelings because maybe you're afraid of offending that person or hurting that person's feelings, but what you're really doing is making it worse. I believe and I feel that if we had more crucial conversations at that time, things could have been different. But at the way the world is now, what lesson did we learn from it? What did I learn from it? And in the next relationship, what mistakes am I not going to repeat? Mm-hmm. So that's as simple as we can get in that part.
That's a really healthy outlook in relationships in general, though. I was talking to somebody yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, and we started going over how people react with like their ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, and how like they, in America specifically, so I'm going to say in Western culture, but in America specifically, when you break up with somebody, it's like that person's dead. They like treat them like they're dead. They treat them like they're evil. They go down the gamut of, this is a terrible person. I can never have a relationship with them, whether it's friendship, you know, another boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage, whatever. I'm friends with all of my exes. Mm-hmm. Like I'm good friends with my ex-wife, who I've known my entire life. So, you know, it's a little bit of a different scenario, but I'm friends with everybody. I have no ill will towards any ex-girlfriend of mine. And I feel like that's a normal way of being. But in America, it is very opposite. It seems like everybody here, when you break up with somebody, that person is dead to you.
Yeah, because it's how you break up with the person, though, and what the reasoning was.
Yeah.
In my prior relationships, yes, we said, listen, let's talk. This isn't working out. I want you to heal. Because as a person in a relationship, you're supposed to be giving to the other person, not taking from the other person. So if I'm going to give, listen, I want to not just give you closure, but I want to give you, hey, listen, you are a great person. We're just not good together. So I want to be supportive to you. Like, I want you to be happy. Just it won't be happy with me. But in the time of being hurt, in the time of going through that process, you're not logical. You're emotional. You know, even this last one, cut off completely. Like, whoa, what happened? Rather than saying, hey, let's talk, let's figure something out, just boom, out. Some people react differently. So there's a lack of maturity there. There's a lack of conflict resolution skill sets there. There's a lot of avoidance there. I think if there's cheating going on, if there's manipulation going on, if there's abuse going on, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, I think that's the hard part.
Yeah.
But if a relationship's losing passion or a relationship's not communicating, it gets dull and boring, that's no reason to cut somebody off because it's not ill-minded. It's not something that you went out of your way to purposely do. So I agree with you. Yeah, there should be some kind of communication, and at least have closure to it. So cutting someone off, what's the song? Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're somebody that I never knew is what it really comes down to. So
we'll talk about a complete and total 180 on attitude change like that. You know, people very much need to be aware that controlling your emotions is the best way to react to anything.
There's the 15-second rule, which is you can go from 0 to 100 like that. So when you're getting upset, something's going on, say, hold on, stop. Okay, I don't like what I heard. Give me a minute. Just take a second. What's going on? Are you there? I'm still here. Just give me a minute. Because you want to respond.
Process.
Respond, not react. And I think the way that you respond when emotions are high, that's control. That's calmness. That's even being a masculine man, being in control of a situation, not controlling everything, but you being in control of your emotions, you being in control of what you say. You know, choosing what to eat. Like we didn't have to choose this drink, but we chose it. That's a choice. That shows a level of consciousness and awareness.
So I want to ask, so like being in business, so you're in business, I consider you very, very successful.
Thank you.
You make a lot of money, you drive a nice car, you have memberships at London House, things like that. Mm-hmm. You're a very successful person. You're single.
Thanks.
That's okay. That's okay. It's a good thing. I mean, technically on paper, looking at you, you're one of the most eligible bachelors you can find in Orlando, in my opinion. I'm just looking at it from an outside perspective. So you have all of these accolades. How hard is it dating as you got more successful? Because thank God I found my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, when I was just getting into business and entrepreneurship and just getting into building my company. So she was there from the beginning and she built it up with me. So, you know, she knew me from the start point and she knows me now. And nothing has changed besides maybe the size of the bank account, but for you, being a single man in the age group that you're in, how hard is it dating and how hard is it finding somebody to connect with in the right places when you're that successful? Because I hear a lot of people and they ask me, man, I need to find a woman. I need to find a girlfriend. I can't find anybody that's good.
Growing up in entertainment in South Florida, you're around a lot of pretty girls, beautiful women. I mean, if you go to a bar mitzvah or whatnot in South Florida, the dancers were either the Heat dancers, the Orlando Magic girls we'd have, the Tampa Bucks. So these are all beautiful cheerleaders. So you're on some gorgeous women, models, etc. You don't really want to be in a relationship in that environment, at least growing up a little bit. And then when you get older in life, it's like, you know what, hey, I want to settle down. Not settle down, but I want to build a relationship, build a life. When I was in my 20s, I was broke, living at my parents' house. I couldn't wait to go out for the weekend. But I was dating this one girl. We're still friends today. She's married, everything. We have a great relationship. And we talk about stuff. We laugh at it. But when we were dating, I was trying to start my entertainment company, so I didn't want to go out a lot. Because she was working at the bars, and every time you go to the bar, 300.
It's expensive.
It gets expensive, and especially South Florida. I don't have the money to go spend every night. You're a female. Guys will buy you drinks.
I hated dating sometimes because every time you go, and I did the Tinder thing and like everybody else, and you go out to dinner, it's $250 easy. You're a guy trying to find a nice girl. Man, you're going to spend a fortune. You better have a side job for your side job to afford the dinners.
McDonald's got a drive-through 24 hours for a reason, bro. But you're asking about dating. Okay, let's go to dating here. So, dating a girl, I'm 24 maybe, 24, 25. I think I was 24. And I'm living in my parents' house, trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life. I'm doing the entertainment stuff. I haven't started my company just yet. I'm saving money for it. This one stung. When she got home, she was bartending. Like, okay, good. She got home. I'm at the house, her spot, and we got into an argument. And she says, you still live at your parents' house. Like, threw that in my face. Like, you have no idea what I'm trying to do, what my vision is, what I'm trying to accomplish. But that was just a shot. Like, why'd you do that? Because if that's how you envision me, sorry, I have bigger goals, bigger dreams, bigger aspirations.
Now, were the headaches the same back then when you were building the business?
No, because then I couldn't even take her out. I couldn't even afford to go. I was afraid to be in a relationship because it costs money. Because in America, there's a lot of pressure on the man's got to provide. I get it. There's a difference between doing everything for, how the balance in a relationship should work. There's plenty of YouTube videos on this stuff. But, as a guy, we say, oh yeah, 50-50. You know damn well I'm paying for dinner. I got you. But the fact that you're offering is nice. I tell you what, you buy the first 2 drinks. If you can keep my attention after the second drink, the rest of the night's on me. Fair deal. You buy the first 2, yours and mine, those are 2 drinks. Well, the first round, everyone say, but after that, I got it. Because what I don't like is when girls buy me a drink, you buy them a drink, and then they leave. Because now what happens is the guy thinks that, I bought them a drink, so they have to stay with me. No, that's not the case. I don't want you to stay with me if you don't want to be. But I'm not going to be mooched off of either.
Yeah.
I've seen that way too often. When girls go out in South Florida, all these clubs and whatnot, they don't even bring their wallets. They don't even bring their IDs. So you have no money, no wallet, no ID. Oh, you're expecting guys to pay for you? Wrong girl. But you know what? They're beautiful. And they use that and they work it. So that's the problem. They use that way too much. So the authenticity, the genuine girl that you want to meet, it's not there. They get caught up in that environment, that rush where, I don't think all the guys are going to pay for me. Yeah, but what's that say about you as a person?
And they're definitely targeting people that look like they have money. They're going to look at your watch. They're going to look at your shoes.
Dude,
they're going to look at your clothes.
I didn't want to get this. I was against this for so long. I didn't want to buy this. And
your shoes give you away. Your suit gives you away.
No, I didn't. I was not doing this.
Okay.
No, it was literally just nightlife kind of stuff.
But now that you have it, is it harder?
I wouldn't say harder. It's different.
Okay.
So when I started making more money and I was dating, I was also still in a belief system of scarcity when it comes to finances because I was around lack of money so many years of my life. Mm-hmm. So when I make some money, I didn't want to spend it. I had the same pair of shoes for 3 years. So let me tell you about this story. These are called my fuck you shoes. My fuck you shoes. My first pair of Ferragamos.
Those ones?
Not these.
Okay.
I still got them at the house for sentimental reasons, right?
Okay.
And if it gets rainy, I may wear them. I see Patrick wear these belts. I'm like, what's that circular belt? Is that Audi? Is Audi making a belt? They're like, no, it's Ferragamo. I'm like, what's Ferragamo? I have no idea what Ferragamo is. This is back in 2014, 2015. And I looked at the brand. I'm like, dude, it's $600 for a belt. It's $900 for a pair of shoes. Well, I don't have the kind of money. Then I started making money. And we're in Vegas at a big event, a convention, and I'm wearing my I'm an Entrepreneur shirt, pair of shorts, and flip-flops. Just walking around a day early, trying to relax, trying to get into the vibe of the convention. And I see Ferragamo. I said, wow, I've never seen that store. I walk in and I'm looking around like Pretty Woman, just, big shot, even though I got no money on me right now. And I see these pair of blue suede, bright blue. I said, no one's got, I love having stuff no one's got. Mm-hmm. Like even with the jacket here, see the little jacket, that's a Winston Churchill. We had the custom there, right? I like things that no one has. I come back the next morning, on my way to an equity owners meeting, and I'm the first one at the door. She comes over, unlocks the door at the bottom. You only have the bottom locks, unlocks the bottom, opens it up right this way. I said, I'll take those, please. Brings them out. I said, if they fit, I'm taking them. I put my feet in. I said, okay, these fit. I whipped out my credit card, gave it to her. She says, sir, do you know how much these are? I said, I don't care.
How'd that make you feel?
Fuck you. That was the best feeling in the world when you actually have fuck you money. When you have some fuck you money, and that's obviously in the movie with Mark Wahlberg and what's his name, when you have fuck you money, you have such a peace of mind, but you have to still do it wisely. Now, granted, I wore those shoes with everything. No, it didn't even go. I had a black tuxedo on.
Oh, you're gonna wear that with everything.
And I wore those blue shoes.
Of course you are.
So I wore them for 3 years, almost every day. I didn't spend any more money. It got to a point where I said, all right, I need to upgrade my identity, because your identity is your operating system. And your behavior tracks that, so you can't, you need to have both. And I said, all right, let me just step out of my comfort zone. Let me go get some custom suits. Mm-hmm. So I got 3 or 4 custom suits. Then I said, let me go get another pair of Ferragamos. And I did it in spurts. Mm-hmm. And then it got to a point I said, okay, I'm more comfortable doing this. Then I upgraded the cars. Then I got a penthouse. But everything is still financially planned out. It wasn't just like I self-sabotage when I make a lot of money. I spend all my money. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people do that because they don't have the identity to hold it. It's if you inherit money or get the lottery, within 5 years, most people are broke because they don't understand the finances that go behind it, the lessons learned to bring it in. But I did it in paces, but now everything's methodical. So I'm not just going to go do retail therapy. Mm-hmm. But that's how the first pair of Ferragamos got. Those were fuck you shoes. But going back to now, making money, dating. The biggest fear I think a lot of guys have is being taken advantage of financially. She knows that we have money. Mm-hmm. What are women subconsciously looking for? Stability, alpha, passing on their genes. I want to be safe, secure. I want to be taken care of. Not taken care of just emotionally, physically, mentally, but also financially.
Sure.
They see that a level of financial success is attractive, So,
and not necessarily that they need a man to take care of them, because my wife did not need anybody to take care of her.
I respect about her too.
She was making a ton of money when I met her, making way more money than I was. She's going to come on the podcast and we're going to have a story about how our relationship kind of flourished, how it started from nothing, and I really did have nothing. But, for women in general, they want financial security and stability, even if they already have it. It's still sexy in a man.
I think now the challenge is, how do you still turn on a woman, impress a woman, have fun with a woman without showing off your money? Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is I have 2 cars. I have the white Prius.
You can tell them what it is.
It's a white Lamborghini, right? It's a sexy ass Lamborghini.
It's a beautiful
right?
Lamborghini.
And then I have a GLS AMG Mercedes truck. Mm-hmm. Every girl I've spoken to doesn't like the Lamborghini. They love the truck.
Interesting.
Because the Lamborghini looks like, and you know what it's, they think you're showing off. He's very arrogant. You're very cocky. You don't understand. When you drive that car with a convertible, with a $9,000 freaking sound system, with the bass bar, you have no idea how much fun that is. Mm-hmm. It's like driving a go-kart.
But did you buy it for women?
No. So, that's the other part though. I think a lot of guys buy things to impress others. I bought that for me. I bought that because I freaking wanted it. Because that doesn't make me, like, John is not a Lamborghini. John is John. I bought that because it's fun. That's a fun toy. I drove the truck today. Huh. Truck's more functional. I can't be on Bluetooth on the Lamborghini. Hello, can you hear me? It sucks. But the car is fun.
Yeah.
Exotics are fun. If anyone's been in one, it's a whole different experience. So I bought the car for me. And I remember a couple of years ago, a business coach of mine was going to say, John, if you're going to buy a Ferrari, buy it for you. Because buying a material item is not going to make you happy. It's going to mask how you're feeling. And I really remember that. That makes so much sense. So I waited to buy certain things until I was happy. And then when I was happy, then I bought that shit. The Rolex, everything, I'm not buying. No, I'm not happy. No, I'm not going to buy that for the wrong reason. I'm going to buy it because I want it.
I have a lot of friends that collect Rolexes and things like that.
That's also an investment. It's a business.
And they invest in them, and it is an investment. Every Rolex that I've ever seen has gone up in value almost
Insane.
70%
Better than the markets.
or more. Yeah, it's better than every market out there. But why do you wear a Rolex? It tells time just like the phone does. It tells time like every other watch does. But I'll tell you what, when you wear a Rolex, it feels different. You can't buy it for the wrong reason. Just like you wear the suit, just like you wear the shoes. I wear Ferragamo shoes because they're comfortable. Mm-hmm. I actually like them. They're going to last a very long time.
Correct.
So it's a quality thing, for me. I don't wear them to impress anybody. I can care less. Obviously, I'm married. I'm not trying to impress anybody anyway.
Well, subconsciously you are.
Explain.
One person.
Who was that?
Just you and Melissa just want to be happy together.
Mm-hmm.
But also you don't want to let your standards drop. It's almost as if, imagine Melissa stopped getting dressed up to go out. She stopped working out. She stopped doing things that you fell in love with. So you still are trying to impress.
True.
But you're not going out of your way in a negative way, if that makes sense. You're doing it because it makes you happy. It also makes her happy. You're doing it for the right reasons. I don't know if is that making sense? Or
Yeah,
do I
no,
have to unpack
absolutely.
that more?
Yeah, that's kind of how
You're
I
not
feel
trying
about.
too hard, just being you.
That's kind of how I feel about everything.
You're being authentic.
I like nice cars.
Yes.
Because I like them.
You're authentic.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. But there's always the subconscious where it's like, well, I know that if I wear this, he'll like it. Mm-hmm. If I wear this, she'll like it. Girls and guys think that way.
So I had a conversation with one of my wife's very good friends talking about alpha males versus beta males, how men are...
That's a rabbit hole.
Oh, it's a rabbit hole. It's bad. She basically told me, she's like, everybody that I keep talking to, it's a bunch of beta males. They're like, I don't feel like I could be protected by them walking around. They are very weak-minded. They're very weak just physically in general. Mm-hmm. And she's just like, and so she's tall. She's like 5'10". And she's like got that model like figure. She's beautiful. You know what I mean? But she can't find a man that'll actually be alpha enough for her because she's an alpha female. I mean, she's a stud. She travels. She makes a ton of money. I think she's an engineer or something like that for some huge company.
Are you playing matchmaker right now?
I'm not. But, she has these certain standards, and one of those things is the alpha versus beta male. So you and I have talked before about the alpha versus beta personality with men. Real quick, just touch on it. What does it mean to be alpha? It's been noted to be negative recently by media and stuff like that. They're almost diminishing what an alpha male really means. It's a very positive thing. I think if a male is alpha, I think it's positive.
That goes back to dating with money. A beta is going to use his money to try to impress. An alpha don't give two shits. Mm-hmm. An alpha is going to go spend what he wants to spend. If you want to join me, join me. Mm-hmm. It's come join me, not, oh, I got it. There's a book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, and there's a big difference between being a nice guy and a kind man. Mm-hmm. And a nice guy is a pushover, a pansy, avoids conflict. Most of us get caught up in that nice guy image. A kind man is a kind person, good heart, authentic, but also, besides being transparent, they have a backbone. They stand up for stuff. They're there. That's the alpha. So alphas are kind. I think what they're trying to do is, there's a lack of leadership in this country. There's a lack of masculine men. We have too many boys that are men. We don't talk enough about it, and then we're almost ashamed of calling it out. You ever see someone get a woman? There's a couple books we can talk about this too. But you ever see a woman demasculine a guy publicly? Mm-hmm. One time I had a girl I was dating. So one time I didn't tell her something because I didn't want to tell her because it would spoil a surprise. Make sense? So It's because I'm a broker, so I have privy to the information.
Yeah.
That all the non-brokers were going to surprise you. Hey, surprise.
Gotcha.
And she was so offended I didn't tell her. And she ended up pointing her finger at me in my face at an event. And I just looked at her. I said, okay, we're going to talk about this later. What was going through your head that you're going to do that to me in front of everybody?
Yeah. Oh, she's trying to establish a dominance there.
Like, why though? Like, do you want... No woman wants to run the relationship. They do that because they have to. Melissa's an alpha, yes?
She's an alpha.
I promise you. She just says, let me go get pretty. You take care of the rest of the night.
Well, her and I talked about this before because we were talking to her friend, obviously. We talked about it on several occasions. So she's an alpha female.
100%.
I'm fully aware that people do not like the idea of gender roles in this country right now. They're kind of getting way away from what gender roles used to be. I'm sorry. men are larger, stronger, faster than women. And it's for a reason. We're dominated by testosterone, women are not, body size, whatever. So we were built to be protectors, kind of idea. We're going way back to caveman days. So with the gender roles, Melissa understands she's an alpha female. And I mean, she's tough. You talk to her. She gets tough.
Oh, she's awesome.
And she turns into, in our dynamic, beta to me, allowing me to be an alpha male. I think the problem happens when women are being an alpha female, they're trying to alpha a male. And in that gender role, in the relationship, it doesn't really work that way. And listen, there are probably some out there that work. Are they really working internally? I don't think so. But there is a reason for gender roles. And like I say, stereotypes are there for a reason. They're kind of there because they have been around for a very long time. And this is kind of how our humanity and how society has really developed.
When there's somebody that doesn't get their way on a public stage, they try to recruit everyone to their way of doing it. And then it becomes more and more and more and more and more, because being alpha requires work. Being a top earner, top producer, top of the game requires work. Most people don't want to work anymore. The government, other people want you to feel sorry for yourself so they could come up with the cure. And then they just keep recruiting you to the side. So they're playing the role of the victim and making you feel like a victim, and so on and so on and so on, and it spirals.
So you think that's kind of the entire maybe idea of why they want men less masculine, less alpha?
It's control. 100% it's control. It comes down to the basic laws of human nature, the basic founding principles of how we're built as people and how society is. People want a sense of community. They want to feel a certain way. They want to feel loved. Men need sexual fulfillment. Women need emotional connection, affection. It's a need that we have. And if you violate those needs, that's when all hell breaks loose. If you go watch the series on Netflix, How to Become a Tyrant, you go watch Robert Greene stuff, it's all psychology 101. And once you understand how that works, it just repeats itself just with different people. So you can identify, you're so-and-so, you're so-and-so, you're so-and-so. Like, what is the purpose of driving with a mask in a car by yourself in the left lane going 45 miles an hour? It makes no freaking sense to me. But people do that. That's beta. Alpha is the one without the mask, top down, 7 people in the car, driving with it. It makes sense. And it's just the way you look at things. But going back to your question, I'm staying on point there. Dating with money. Okay. Alpha versus beta. Beta is a people pleaser. They're seeking approval. Approval-seeking behavior is so beta. And by the way, I've done that before.
Everybody has.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody has beta tendencies that can come out.
And it never works out.
No, never works out.
And I realized this through experiment. I made a lot of mistakes in dating, a lot of mistakes growing up and in business. You're trying to go out of your way to make someone feel, that ain't going to work no more. I said, you know what? Done with that.
Yeah.
So the previous relationship, when we first went out to dinner, and she lived in a different state, so she would fly in. I said, she passed the test. She wasn't relying on me to pay for it. Interesting. Okay. She flew in. But when she flew in, I got it. Dinner, drink, on me. 100% I took care of it. We want to go to Universal. She'll maybe buy the tickets. Okay. But I pay for the food and everything else. Fine. Every now and again, we'll go to SeaWorld. I bought the tickets, but then she'll buy the pictures. Is it okay that the female in the relationship actually contributes financially? Is that wrong? What if I didn't have money? What if I didn't have a lot of money, but you want those pictures? I don't have an extra $40, but you do because you're doing better than me? Then go ahead. Why is that being thrown back in your face? There's one thing I do think that happened. This person was hanging around some people that was negatively influenced, easily influenced by lifestyle and money, because her friends, he still makes you pay for so-and-so. So I think the challenge is money should allow you to be more of who you are. It should allow you more opportunities. It should allow you to have nicer things. But if you're basing your freaking relationship on money and finance, what happens if you lost everything today? Now what? Who are you?
Melissa found me with no money. That's the best thing about it. My wife found me with no money. I was broke. I was $70K in debt. People don't know this about me. People that don't pay attention to my business story, I was $70,000 in debt because I used it to start the business. Credit card debt, you name it. I wasn't paying car payments, anything. I was like 100% in the business. When Melissa met me, I told her all this. I was straight up. And she was like, when we got to a point where I had to eliminate a partner and go out on my own, and I'm like, I don't think I can even swing payroll. She told me, she's like, I got you. She's like, I got you. She's like, if you need something, I got you.
Yeah.
That's
powerful, because the problem is that As a man, as an alpha, you feel that, oh, I can't pay for it, I'm not an alpha. You feel that if you can't financially, physically pay for something, you're not alpha. One of my favorite movies is Cinderella Man, Russell Crowe.
The boxing movie?
Yes. There's so many parts of that movie from when he was at the peak of his career to when he lost everything. His wife stood by him.
Mm-hmm.
She was cooking the ham for the kids. And then the kid was really hungry. Guess what he did? He gave his ham to the kids. And he left to work on empty stomach. She's like, Jim, she didn't leave him.
Mm-hmm.
She loved him for him because he was a fighter. And he was depressed. He went down, but she stuck by his side. The kids started getting sick because the electric was off. Kids start coughing. And then she sends the kids away to go with other families so they can be healthy.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And he says, no, I'm keeping this family together. That's alpha.
Yeah. And he had the work ethic and he had the drive to do that.
But here's the best part. When he went to go borrow money from the government, the moment he made money back, he brought the money back to the government. How many freaking people are doing that today? I'm on welfare. I don't need it anymore. Here's the welfare money back. Here's a stimulus check. I don't need it. Here's the money back. They don't do that.
You're paying for it. Your taxes are paying for it.
Yes, but at the same time is that money should be there when someone needs help.
Exactly.
Right? Okay,
Exactly.
got it. Now this is obviously a political conversation, but there's a point of if you needed help versus abusing the system. There's too many people that abuse the system.
Yeah.
If you need help, got you. The idea is to help you get on your feet, but not keep falling down.
The biggest piece of advice that I give to people, anybody that's like striving to get more, make more money, find a better relationship, anything, is just be yourself. Stay true to yourself. I wear a suit every single day. I have multiple custom suits that I bought. I like wearing a suit. I like wearing nice shoes. I like driving a nice car. I do it for nobody else. I stay true to myself. Mm-hmm. I do things for me. I do things because they make me feel good. When people start going down that rabbit hole of, I'm going to do this to attract girls, I'm going to do this to try to attract people to give me money or make more money, this and that, you just have the wrong idea and everything. So I just tell everybody, I'm like, you need to be extremely focused on making sure that you're keeping your core values in line and you are making sure that you're just being yourself, not trying to copy.
Being yourself, most people don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
They don't know their morals, their values, their principles. They don't even know what they stand on. They don't know their boundaries. That's why they get spoken to a certain way. Being your authentic self, they're afraid of criticism. So the person that wants to speak up, the most dangerous person is the ones that are being honest. If you know who you are as a person, you know your morals, your values, your principles, that you're not going to negotiate. There's non-negotiables in relationships. Like even I was just talking about with money, the last relationship. Yeah, I think if there was a conversation we talked about ahead of time and brought it up when it came up, it could have been solved.
What's the biggest piece of advice? We're going to wrap up on relationships. I could talk to you for literally 3 hours. We could make this a 5-hour podcast if we wanted to. What's 3 pieces of advice you would give to any man who, number one, wants to live an alpha male type of life, wants to make money, and wants to just do the best things for themselves? Give everybody 3 pieces of advice if you can.
Learn how money works. Cash is liquid, it's safe, it's great, awesome, but if you're not keeping it with inflation, you're behind. Stocks, mutual funds, IRAs, 401ks, crypto, anything with the market goes up, it can also go down. You should have some things, but you don't want to have 100% of your stuff in equities or risk. Real estate's made the most millionaires of any investment, but it's also caused the most bankruptcies because people didn't do it the right way. The only sector of money or finance that's never lost is insurance, but most people don't understand insurance. So one, learn about insurances, see how it works, learn how to protect your money. So one, have a certain amount of life insurance. There's you go. Number one, there's my life insurance plug. Number 2 is learn how to have crucial conversations. Learn how to address conflict. It's probably one of the most highest paid skills in life and in business. And if I would have gotten better, and this is on me, if I would have gotten better at having those conversations when they came up in any relationship, whether it's business, my personal life, I can only imagine how it could have turned out and how I would have wanted to turn out and how many hours of therapy we would have saved, right? How many hours of regret we would have saved. The next part is power versus force. Power versus force. There's a book, David Hawkins, chapter 8, if you want to read it specifically. Learn to be in your sense of power. Don't try to force things. I think a lot of people are forcing relationships. Well, I'm 28 years old, so I have to get married. No, you don't. Power is relaxed intensity. Mm-hmm. Power is being yourself. There's no pressure. It just flows. And we've all been in a relationship where it just flows. It's just the most fun, enjoyable. You're laughing. You're not trying.
Absolutely.
Like right now, we're just having a good time. We're talking. There's cameras around. We're having a good time. We're just chilling. But if we're forcing what to say or we're forcing it, then it's not going to come out naturally, and the conversation wouldn't have even gone off to where it's going.
Yeah.
So those are 3 parts I would say: is learn how money works, learn to have crucial conversations, and understand power versus force. And I think everyone will just be much happier and more successful. And when it comes to business, just work your ass off.
That's it.
Work your ass off.
John,
Simple.
I can't wait to have you back on the podcast. We'll talk about some more topics, and thanks for coming on.
Likewise. Appreciate it, guys.